The question is that the bill be now read a second time. I call the member for Ballina.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise to make a very brief contribution on the Ageing and Disability Commissioner Amendment Bill 2023. I am the older, one of my portfolios for the Greens is older persons, and also just to acknowledge the work of our Greens spokesperson on disability, Abigail Boyd. The bill amends the Ageing and Disability Commissioner Act 2019 to implement all except two recommendations of the 2023 statutory review of the Act. Those two recommendations that are not being implemented were recommendation 3B, which would expand the circumstances in which the Commissioner may investigate allegations without the consent of the relevant adult with respect to the issue of the adult's capacity to consent, and recommendation 11, to appoint or designate a parliamentary committee to monitor and review the functions of the ADC. My colleague in the other place, Abigail Boyd, will be moving to an amendment to see the implementation of recommendation 11, to appoint a parliamentary committee to monitor and review the Commissioner's functions. Our intention with that amendment is to ensure transparency and accountability in monitoring the functions and capacity of the Commission, including its ability to operate it under the allocated funding. And it was interesting to hear the former Minister for Disability talking about the Commissioner themselves raising the issue, some of those issues. We commend the Minister for the Labor Minister for the recommendations and the statutory review and the implementation, but we do believe that it could go further in strengthening the Commission, including taking on board more of the recommendations by disability advocates. And it's interesting to me, I've recently, as Education Spokes, made a submission to the Upper House inquiry chaired by Abigail Boyd, MLC, into disability in education. And I want to give a shout out to Will Black in my office, who did really good work on that submission. And I think that there's still a tendency, I mean, able-bodied discrimination is rife, and we're all guilty of it. But I think there's just this temptation to infanticise both older people and people with disability. And that's why the role of this commission is just so very important. We've seen in the Royal Commission, the National Royal Commission, the lived experiences and reading the accounts of people with disability about their lives and just putting ourselves into their shoes and how horrendous it is. And I know, like most members, just something simple that happened in my electorate recently, which was just, it was such a travesty because it reduced access for people with disability. It was the upgrade of the pools, upgrade of the pool in Ballina and Alstonville, and where before you had a little ledge that people could come in, people with disability in a wheelchair could come and get themselves into the pool and quite easily get out of the pool. They can't now. And so they have to have a carer. So these are people who are independent, who didn't need a carer, because what the pool has provided is a big kind of pulley thing system, which is really onerous. And it's just, it's just the death of a thousand cuts. And so I think it's just really important to think that there's so many experiences that we just are unaware of in our communities, and just to open our eyes to those. We know that this commission was established in 2019 under the Ageing and Disability Commissioner Act 2019 as an independent agency of the New South Wales Government to promote the rights of adults with disability and older people and protect them from abuse, neglect and exploitation. And I would just add there that, because I think it can still be seen very much like a deficit model, we very much see the role of the Commissioner and the Commission to work with everyone in society to break down the stigma and to break down able-bodied prejudices that are rife across all aspects of life. And I note that the Liesl Tetch here, before I was here when she came into Parliament, and just seeing how the Parliament was not ready for someone in a wheelchair, a member of Parliament in a wheelchair. So there's just so much more work to be done. And exactly. So we know that there's good work happening, and we want to see that continue. The Commissioner has confirmed several times in budget estimates how severely and chronically underfunded the Commission is, to the extent that it is unable to fill its statutory duties. So we see that an oversight committee, in the same way that we have an oversight committee of the Valuer General and other statutory entities, we think it's perfectly reasonable. The Commissioner estimated in 2022 that the funding shortfall was approximately $9 million over the following 3 years. But we note that the new Labor government has made inroads on that, and we really hope that that continues in this year's budget. We know also that the discussion paper, the submissions from a range of disability advocacy organisations, but also from people living with disability, that's very welcome to hear their voices. And we know that some of those peak organisations are generally supportive of the recommendations that are being implemented. So, Mr. Speaker, we support this amendment, we support the bill, but we are seeking to include recommendation 11 from the review to appoint a parliamentary committee to monitor and review the Commissioner's functions. We think that this can't be, as we see, we don't want to be setting up the Commissioner for failure. We want to make sure that, especially with the lack of funding of disability advocacy services, we're not really hearing anyone in Labor talking about recurrent funding. It's something they took to the election. Recurrent funding needs to be addressed. We can't wait too many more years for that to be addressed. For advocates and people who are doing the heavy lifting. In my electorate, particularly with older women living in cars, homelessness is rife. We have the highest rough sleepers in the state in Byron Shire. There's so much work to be done, so we just want to see that this Commissioner has everything that they need to be able to be a real force in the state. Thank you.